Hey everyone, Stephanie Mercurio here. I am wishing you all very well. I hope that everyone is safe and healthy during these crazy times. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Metabolic Effect Diet by Jade and Keone Teta. This book stood out to me initially because as a certified nutrition coach and somebody who takes a metabolically focused approach to program design, I was really excited to learn a new method or essentially add a new tool to my toolbox, not only to expand my education, but to also bring more value to my coaching and for me to be able to help people better. The authors of this book are brothers. Jade and Keone both hold bachelor's degrees of biochemistry and are also both naturopathic doctors of medicine. So automatically, this stuck out to me as two very credible individuals who probably know what they're talking about. They're also highly involved in the fitness industry. They're both certified strength and conditioning coaches, as well as certified through the American College of Sports Medicine as health and fitness instructors. So again, coming from somebody with my background in the fitness industry, I was really excited to read a piece of literature that is essentially bridging the gap. I think we can probably all agree that diet and nutrition and exercise lifestyle intervention is a powerful tool that we can use to influence positive change. However, as the age-old saying goes, we should never judge a book by its cover. So the basis of this diet is fairly simple. I would say that it's composed of three different components. The first one is hormones. This is a fat loss diet plan that focuses on the regulation of hormones that can influence or inhibit fat loss. And that's determined upon two things. One, whether or not a person is a sugar burner or a muscle burner or both. So they claim that there's three types of people. As you may have heard, there's ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs. This book takes a different approach and suggests that there's sugar burners, muscle burners, and mixed burners, a combination of both. And the third component, which is focused on the quality of food versus quantity of food. And the quality of food is dependent upon whether the person is a sugar burner, a muscle burner, or a mixed burner. Okay, and the diet is a tri-phase diet. So there's three different phases of this diet that you go through. The first phase of the diet is called the spark. The second phase of the diet is called the transformation. And the third phase is called the effect. So you have the metabolic spark, the metabolic transformation, and the metabolic effect. The metabolic spark is right at the beginning of the diet when somebody's first starting to get into the routine, starts kind of seeing those initial changes. The second phase is when they're really in the meat and potatoes of the diet. They're really seeing, they're really gaining traction. They're seeing the fat loss. They're seeing the results. They're feeling great. They have more energy. They're having better sleep. They really have the ball rolling. And the third phase, in my interpretation, is what the authors are insinuating is more or less the maintenance phase of this diet plan, where it goes from not being just a diet, but more of an overall lifestyle change. And the reason why I'm being so vague with that is because these phases aren't greatly defined in the book. One thing that I have to say that I found very helpful was that in each phase, there are specific workout routines and suggestions that the authors make for the readers to perform. And it's just based on very basic movements. It shows, real life diagrams on proper form and how to perform the movement, and also focuses just on using free weight dumbbells. So for perhaps maybe an older audience, the workout portion and the exercise portion of this book is probably quite helpful because it doesn't necessarily have to be performed in a gym. There's no equipment that's necessary with the exception of dumbbell weights that are appropriate for you and obviously your ability to lift them. So in that respect, I'll give them a thumbs up. I think that is a really great component of this book, but that's probably about it. Overall, I would never recommend this book for anybody who is seeking advice on how to lose fat. And a lot of the reason why I say that is because all of the claims that the authors make in this book they're just not backed up with the evidence. There's no citations, there's no direct citations, rather. There's a bibliography in the back of the book, which is organized alphabetically, and realistically, good luck trying to figure out what claims go with what source in the back. Most of their claims do not reference any sort of study. Some of them vaguely reference a study. But the confusion of this diet goes a little bit more than that. And blatantly, I'm disappointed, because considering the scientific background of these individuals, I feel like they should know better. Overall, the diet, the tone of the book is unicorns, butterflies, and rainbows. This is the best way to diet. They condemn the calories in versus calories out model of fat loss, which, by the way, science backs it up. I'm not saying that hormones don't play a role in fat loss. They do. They help modulate metabolism. However, the calories in versus calories out model works. I don't care how good you eat. If you're eating too much, if you're putting yourself in a consistent calorie surplus, you're not going to lose fat. And with this book and this plan, I think that could be very easy for somebody to do, because there's just no guidelines. Everything is just very vague. Further, there is so much restriction. This diet relies on high protein, high fiber, controlled carbohydrate, and low fat. However, I find that that's also very contradictory to a lot of their claims. They constantly say that, carbohydrates are evil. They create an insulin response, and insulin is a fat-storing hormone. Well, insulin can only be really fat-storing if you're in a calorie surplus. However, in a calorie deficit, and realistically even in maintenance stage, your insulin is being secreted by your pancreas as a response to your blood sugar levels going up, and insulin takes your blood sugar and shuttles it into the cells that need it for energy, or thus in conversion into glycogen into the muscle and the liver for later use of energy. So again, I think that they have a tremendous bias when it comes to carbohydrates, and they are strong proponents of restriction. It's also very confusing, and they don't really give you an explanation as to why you should choose certain foods over others. So, for example, something as silly as, well, you can have blueberries if you're a sugar burner, but you can't have an orange. And that's fine, but you need to explain why. And there's just no explanation why. And I think that a book like this really takes advantage of people who are in a desperate state. They want to lose fat so bad. So when they read a book like this that says, oh my God, we have the magic pill for you with this diet, this is it, I think that it's very misleading. And it's also, I think that it establishes a poor relationship with food. And I think that that's also a huge reason why we have such an issue with obesity, is that people have poor relationships with their bodies, and people have poor relationships with food. And I think that a diet like this that focuses on restriction and excludes foods that are generally very nutritious, and I'm talking about fruits and vegetables. Realistically, there's no processed foods in this diet, which is great. But why are you going to say that you can have, one vegetable over another? I mean, it goes as far as saying that, if you're going to have a potato, you can only count 5 bites of it because that's all you're allowed. I mean, I feel like it's an eating disorder waiting to happen. Honestly, this book, reading it every day made me angry. In fact, I asked Dr. Armando if I could change my book, because it made me that mad. But then I understood the basis of the assignment, and it's okay. I'm glad I read it so that I can combat everything. And I ran out of Post-it notes. If I wanted to go through every claim that this book made and find a study that I know completely contradicts this and proves that it's wrong, I would be sitting here for an hour. But unfortunately, I am out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please, I'm looking forward to your questions, and I'm really looking forward to answering them. Have a great night. Looking forward to seeing everybody's videos.